My name is Laura Shirley and I'm with Carta Design. And I'm going to be going through a tutorial of how to make my new train pop-up card. There are many pieces in this project, so I'll go over each piece with you. First and foremost, we have a card base, which is 10 inches by 7 inches, folded in the middle. And then we have decorations for that card base. We have some front panels, some front decorations, and then we have one back panel. And we also have some things to decorate the front of the card to give it a little bit more pizzazz. We have the words "All Aboard" against a gold background. And I've got this upside down because that goes right here. And then we have a steam locomotive that goes right down here. So I'll be putting those on the card first so you can see how they get put onto the card. So we're going to be putting the backing down, and it probably doesn't need a whole lot of glue, but we want to go pretty close to the edges. This goes on the back of the card. In the center, in the middle, as close as you can get it. And then we have a gold backing that goes on the front. We're going to put that in the middle center. Set these little doodads aside, and now we're going to put the red overlay and I'll just dab some glue here and there. It does. I'm going to check and make sure that it's going the right direction. This little rainbow thing goes toward the top. And then we're going to put in the center middle of the gold piece. Now we're going to put the "All Aboard" on there. We're going to put just a little bit of glue on the letters, on the backing of the letters. We'll put our black letters right in the middle of the gold backing. And then we'll put some glue on the gold backing. So this goes just above this gold line here, so you know how to line it up. And for our steam train decoration, I designed this card for our 2-year-old grandson's 2-year-old birthday because he loves trains, and my husband has a train set up in our home, and our grandson loves coming over and playing trains with Grandpa. So for his 2nd birthday, he got a train card, and then someone said to me, you know, you should sell that. There are probably other people who like trains, and so I decided to make this available. Now we're going to put our black silhouette of our train on our gold backing so it really stands out, and then some glue on the backing to secure it to the card face. And it's going to be a little bit at an angle so it looks like it's coming at you out of the picture. There we go. Okay, so there is the front and the back. That's all done. We are going to work on some critical folds for this pop-up. I have already done the folds for you for the right train pop-up structure, but I will demonstrate for you how to make these folds with the left train pop-up structure, the left side. I always like to start at the back of the design. In this case, it's the car This is the car portion. This is the cab portion. This is the boiler with the smokestack portion. So we're going to start with the car, and we're going to go to the very back gluing flap. And sometimes the pieces for this particular project might be a little intricate. So you might want to have a pair of crook neck tweezers to hold on and roll your finger around so that it creates the crease for you. And with pop-ups, it's very important to have flexible folds. And how you get those is by using a bone folder such as this. This is my handy dandy bone folder I've had forever. And just creasing it over and over, back and forth, folding it one way, then folding it the other, and using the bone folder to get a really good crease each time. Then you see it creates a lot of flexibility. Now we're going to go to the next fold. We're going to do the same thing. Now we're going to go to the car portion, and this is going to be a gluing tab that we will glue down to the card base, and it's going to get folded under, and this is called a mountain fold. And the reason for that is that if you hold it at an angle to your face, it looks like a mountain. And a valley fold is one that looks like a valley. Hope you can see that. So most of these folds are mountain folds. I'm going to give it a bit more flexibility. Then I'm going to move on to the roof of the train car. This is the first fold for the roof, and here's the second fold of this side. Fold these a couple of times more. Make sure we get a lot of flexibility out of these folds. Now we're going to go to the train cab, which has our little engineer in there with his engineer's cap. This is the glue tab that I just folded, and now we're going to go to the roof of the cab, and this is the first fold for the roof. Make sure that your folds are very straight along the crease that comes from the score line. That's very important. You want to make sure that your pop-up lines up correctly, and that's one of the critical things, is to make sure that all the scores are creased and folded exactly where they're meant to be. Now for the last section of the train, this is the boiler section. And again, this is the gluing tab of the boiler section, the inside gluing tab. These have all been the inside gluing tabs, and this is the outside. We'll get to that at the very end. We'll make this very flexible. Okay, and while most of the creases in this piece are going to be mountain folds, there's going to be some valley folds. So I'll show you when we get to it. Now the next section, right as we get to the smokestack, this is a mountain fold also. However, the smokestack itself is a valley fold. there's another crease. Oh, I'm having a hard time seeing it, but I see it right there. Gotta get it straight. Make sure it lines up. Okay, so that's going to make the top of the boiler between these two creases. And now we're going to give some three-dimensionality to the boiler. So this is where we're going to make a valley fold. So we've had all mountain folds until now, and this one right below the face of the boiler becomes a valley fold. Give that a lot of flexibility. Even though a boiler is round, we're going to be making it rectangular, but it's still going to give you the effect. All right, now we're back to our mountain folds. So this one that's between the boiler and the wheels. Excuse me, we've had just one valley fold, which goes like this. So it's like a valley. Okay, now the last valley fold is going to be the gluing tab for the piece. We'll start with our back car section. We'll line this up with our wheels and our windows and the top and the bottom. Now we'll place the cab red overlay over the cab portion. Oh, and you don't want to put any glue on this section here. This is going to be the front window, so I'm going to actually scrape that glue off. No glue right there. And I'm also not going to put any glue on this part of the cow catcher from here to here. We'll be taking care of that in just a few minutes. We're going to line this up with the wheels and the window. And we're going to make sure that this cylinder part of this section does not get glued to the pop-up structure, because we want that to be loose right there. And we want the cow catcher to be loose right there. And we want the front window to stay loose for now. Now we will put the gold overlay pieces on. But you also don't need to put an excessive amount of glue, just enough to tack it on so that it stays. Well, unless you're giving it to a very small child that might want to actually play with it. And here's the gold overlay for the cab. We'll line this up with the wheels. You see how both of these gold pieces just rim the red wheels, so we can still see the red along the edges of the wheels. There are a couple of other gold pieces that we need to add. And one of the things that I do for my very small pieces is I have a piece of double stick tape that I put very small pieces to so I don't lose them. And one of the pieces that we need right now is going to be for the smokestack. Going to fold this pop-up structure part down while I put some glue on the smokestack. And it's just a little extra detail just to make the smokestack pop a little bit, make it stand out. Now this gold piece, we only have one. We don't have it for both sides because it's going to extend over to the other side. And you see we've got a score line right in the middle. This is going to go on the face of the boiler. And for right now, what I'm going to do is I'm only going to put glue on this side. Oh, and I just realized I forgot one fold. One mountain fold, which is on the boiler face. So right now I'm just going to put glue on half of this face plate, gold face plate for the boiler. And the other half I am leaving unglued for now so that you can see how this will go. And we have a couple of black pieces which we're going to be adding to give it a little bit more pop. We have two what they call on trains rods, connecting rods that go between the wheels to sync them up so they all travel at the same speed. We have a connecting rod for the car, and that goes right in between the two wheels, just like so. And then we have a connecting rod for the cab, and that's going to go right there. So we're done with these pieces for now on this side. I'm going to just set these aside. Now we'll work on the other side. This is what I'm calling the left side of the train. And we'll start with our back car section. Now we're going to work on the cab. And again, I just want to make it clear that we are not going to put glue on three sections of this. We're not going to put glue on the front cab window. We are not going to put glue on this simulated cylinder right here. And we're not going to put glue on the front of the cow catcher. Now we'll put the gold decorations onto the red overlay pieces. It should rim the red overlay wheels just perfectly so you see that little outline of red. And I'm going to place that just right there. Now we are ready to put it on the card base. So I'm going to start on this side of the card. And I'm going to start with the inside glue tabs of the pop-up structure. Just to be systematic, I like to start at the back and work my way forward. So starting with the car, in this case, the car glue tab, inside glue tab. I'm going to have my glue go all the way up to the fold line. That's very important. Not over the fold line, but right up to it. I'm going to cover as much of this glue tab as I can. And where this goes is right up against the edge of the card and right below the fold line. Not over the fold line, so it needs to go right up against it, just like that. And if you can't see the fold line very well, I would recommend that you take a pencil and just, and a straight edge, and just draw that fold line so you know exactly where you're going to be putting these, because that's really important to make sure that it all fits together perfectly. Now for the cab section, glue tab. I'm going to fold that under And I'm going to place that right up against the car glue tab. You see that? How they're right together, as if they could be one continuous piece of cardstock. There's no white space between them. And last, the boiler. And now I'm going to pull it up. It's a little bit awkward because it's going to want to fight you, but it does need to go right against the edge of the fold and right against the edge of the cab glue tab. And let's make sure that it still folds. Yeah, that works good. Now we're going to be putting the other glue tab down, and that's the outside glue tab. We'll do the same thing. We'll have the glue go right up to the folds. Now I'm going to take the outside glue tab and I'm going to be putting it right up against the inside glue tab. I hope you can see this well. Exactly in the same space, right up against it, so that there's no white space in between them. Oh, see, that's not quite close enough. It needs to be closer. And they should end up being the same size. That one valley fold has to fold down as the whole thing folds down. And then you know that your pop-up will work. Oh, I'm excited. This is going to work great. Now let's do the other side, what I'm calling the left side. And we're going to start again with the back, with the car. We're going to put our glue tabs down. Now we're going to put this right up against the fold on the other side, and we're going to get it as close as we can. And there is going to be a little bit of white space between the two glue tabs, the inside glue tab of the right side and the inside glue tab of the left side, because you can't, there's just too much cardstock in between them. So you can't get it exactly perfectly close, but it'll be close enough. And last but not least, the boiler glue tab. And once again, it's going to be awkward. It's going to fight you. So you need to make sure you get it really pulled up there. You might have to use some force, but be very gentle at the same time. Make sure it lines up with the other glue tabs on the other side and with the glue tabs of its own side. It needs to be all lined up very well there. And we're going to glue these two sections together, just like that. So I'm going to put a good amount of glue on the opposite side. I'm going to go right up to the fold, but I'm not going to go over. That'll be the roof. And I only need to put glue on one side. Now we're going to press this side, the left side, against the right side and make sure that everything lines up, especially the smokestacks. They've got to be a mirror image of one another. And the cab, make sure they're exactly the same, a complete mirror of each other. And now the car, and the car is wanting to be a little bit askew, and that's not going to do. So we want to make it work. Okay. And you might want to use some tweezers and hold it together for a few moments to make sure that you get a really good bond between the two sides, especially on this boiler section, because there's not much surface area for gluing. It's going to be really important that this has a good strong bond, but it doesn't have much surface area for a strong bond. Now for the left side outside gluing tab, the last part. I'm going to put that glue all along the edge there, and then we're going to push it up against the inside gluing tabs and make sure that they're the same length across the card. Once again, really press it down and make sure there's a good bond there. Good. Now, before we put on the last pieces, we have a couple of things to fold to hold it together. So we've got our cow catcher, and we've got our boiler face, and our windows for the front of the cab, and we've got our back. So as I usually like to do, I'm going to start from the back and work forward. I'll take the gluing tabs for the back doors and put glue on there. And then press them together. And they should be a mirror image of each other. And one thing that you can do is close the card and line them up. And you see, if the card is perfectly closed, you can actually hold it there, and that will help seal that bond. And I would recommend holding it for a few moments to really make sure that those gluing tabs bond together. That's going to be critical. Now let's come forward and do the same thing with the cab window gluing tabs. I'm going to put glue on there, this gluing tab, and then seal it to the other one. And this is a bit tricky because you've got the smokestack in the way. And once again, you should be able to fold the card closed and have them line up perfectly. So let's just test that out. They should come forward, and on one side of the smokestack, you see when I push the card closed, it lines up those windows just perfectly, and I can keep the card closed for a few moments, and that'll create a good bond in there. And really press down on it. Next, I'm going to do the boiler face. And same thing, I should be able to just close the card, and those should just line up perfectly. If they don't, you can just kind of guide them. There we go. And hold them together for a few moments. And then I can glue the gold decoration for the boiler face. This is where we glue the other side of the boiler face plate. Close that. Just hold it there for a moment. Make sure that it has a strong bond and it stays in place. And so far, everything has fallen into place. I'm very pleased. Now, the cow catcher actually has mountain folds and valley folds because it's going to fold into itself and hopefully not come outside of the parameters of the card. This is probably going to need a good amount of glue. So I'll put it on one of the sections, the glue tabs of the cow catcher. Then I'm going to bring them together at the middle. I'll just use my fingers for now. Here we go. I'm just going to close the card like I did before and get that bond, that strong bond going with that cow catcher. You can see it's sticking out right now, but I'll show you what to do because we have those valley folds that will hopefully push that back into the card. But we're just going to make sure we have a strong bond right now with the cow catcher. All right, now we should be able to push this in on either side. I hope you can see that. I can either use my tweezers or my fingers and push in those valley folds so that when we close the card, it all stays neatly within the parameters of the card. And to kind of make things fold a little bit better, get some more definitive creases, make sure everything lines up. Sometimes I like to use a brayer over my pop-ups. And that helps everything kind of fall into place. Or if it doesn't, then you know what to fix. And so you can see now that that cow catcher has a kind of an M fold. And it folds into the pop-up structure so that it doesn't go to the outside of the structure, but then when it's open, it comes out in front. Isn't that cute? That is so cute. All right, we've just got a couple extra last things to do. We have some roof pieces here, and both of the roof pieces are the same way. We have two mountain folds on the edges. And a valley fold in the middle because it's going to go on top and it's going to fold into the pop-up. And here we're going to need a lot of glue, so just glue the whole thing. I'm going to fold it in just to make sure that it works with that. Folds right there, okay. And then I'm going to press it onto the sides, onto the right side and onto the left side. Make sure there's a strong bond there. And the same thing with the cab. We're going to have a roof for the cab. Place that right at the center of the pop-up structure fold so that it's centered, and then fold over to the sides of the train. All right, and last but not least, we've got our tracks. So the short section of the tracks come to the outside, and the long section of the tracks go to the inside of the train. Hope you can see that. So it looks like that. And we're just going to glue that on. So we're going to put this right here, right up against the wheels and right within the parameters of the sides of the card. And same thing with the other side. And that is going to go right up against the wheels of the train and within the sides so that it doesn't stick out on either side. Okay, someone is going to be so happy to get this when they read all aboard, they see the steam train, if they're a train enthusiast at all. When they open it up, oh my goodness, Look at that. That is going to be so much fun. Well, I hope you've had fun today. If you have, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. I would sure appreciate that. It would help me out, and I hope to see you back here again soon.